It's Amaria Brown, and I'm back with another video. Today, I'm not um. Today, I won't be necessarily on a teaching side. I just want to speak from my experience. I want to tell my story. It's still dealing with social emotional learning, but like I said, I just want to give y'all an experience of what I went through in my past, in my childhood specifically, regarding like my emotions and how I managed them and how it was dysfunctional for me. So I remember when I was about, I think maybe I probably was about 11 years old, and growing up, I don't come from a household where we openly expressed our emotions or how we feel about something. Like when somebody's expressing how they feel about something, it's at the point where they're fed up, so now they're screaming and they're yelling and it's an argument, right? So that's where I come from. That's the kind of household that I grew up in. So I never felt comfortable and safe to just genuinely express my emotions. And then at the same time, because like culture, like, and when I say culture, I'm talking about my friends at the time and my surroundings and the environment that I grew up in. I grew up in the hood. So if you was the type to like openly express your emotions and communicate them, you'll be seen as soft. It's another word I want to use. Start with a P, but I ain't gonna say it. So yeah, so that's what hindered me from being open to communicating my emotions, my environment, my neighborhood, my community, and my household. And so I remember one time, and I grew up with a single parent. It was my mom and just her kids. My dad was in prison for most of my life, so most of my childhood life. And so being raised in a household with just my mom and her being a single parent, she was not the type to express her emotions neither, and she was not she was like emotionally, I guess I could say neglectful. Um, and so she didn't really tell us how she feel about things, like express her emotions to us. It was just basically no real communication in our household. Um, and so I feel like that's where I picked up some of my dysfunction from. But the story that I want to tell is like, um, so I remember I was about 10 or 11 years old, and I was trying to build a relationship with my mom. And like I said, she was emotionally neglectful. So I was trying to work on it. Like and at the same time, she would make like broken promises. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then when the time comes, it never happens. So when you as a kid, when you getting constantly let down or broken promises made to you, it takes an effect on you, right? So it's just like, for me, that was my situation with my mom, and I know other people may have that situation like with their dads. For example, if you have a dad that doesn't stay under the same roof as you, growing up, he might call you and be like, I'm gonna come get you this weekend, and he never comes, and you looking outside, looking out the window waiting for him to pull up, never show, and then it just keep happening week after week, and then you just like, forget it, he ain't gonna show up, he ain't gonna, so it's just like that's preventing y'all from building that relationship. And so for me, although my mom was in our house, she never really communicated with me for real. And so that affected how I later communicated in my relationships and also expressed my emotions. So back to the story. I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna give it one more try. So my mom, she was in the kitchen cooking. And one thing I can say, my mom made sure we had something to eat every single night. I don't care how much money we was lacking. I don't care how much material things we didn't have that the other kids had. My mom made sure we had a nice hot cooked meal every single night. So I respect her for that, for sure. So yeah, she was in the kitchen cooking, and I told myself, it's crazy that I really remember this, right? Probably because it was a traumatic moment for me, but not in a sense of violent, but just a memory that stuck with me because it affected me so deeply emotionally, right? So she's in the kitchen cooking, and the kitchen is like literally right next to my room. So if I walk out my bedroom, I'm walking right into the kitchen. So I went in there, and I'm like, I'm gonna try. In my mind, I'm gonna try one more time. So, and when I say try, I mean like try to build a relationship with my mom. You know what I'm saying? So she's cooking, and I walked over there, and I said, "Mom, what you making?" And she told me what she was cooking, but she said it kind of like with an attitude. So I just ignored it, like, brushed it off, whatever. I was like, I can help you. Now, mind you, I'm a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 10, 11 years old. So it's just like, I still got that hope and that anticipation that it's going to go well. Like, I'm still, happy. Like, I'm not doubting it. I'm not, coming to the situation just expecting it to go wrong. You know what I'm saying? So when I say, can I help? When I say, can I help you? She replied, Amaria, I'm just doing this. Just go out there or something. Let me finish this. That's what she said, right? So I was like, I ain't saying that. I just like, all right, and just walked off. And I went inside the living room, and I sat on the couch. I sat on my couch, and I was just thinking, like, it hurt me. It hurt my feelings so bad because it was just like, dang, my own mom don't even care to, like, talk to me. She don't even care to have a relationship with me, right? And this is your mom. You know what I'm saying? So it cut deep. You know what I'm saying? And like now that I'm older, I could understand it because as adults, especially when you're a single parent. At the time, my mom had 4 kids, so it's like when you a single parent and you're trying to juggle all these things, it can become overwhelming. It can get a little depressing or just too much on your plate. So I get it. But me at that age, I did not get it at all. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know everything that's going on. So I'm just thinking in my mind that my mom don't care. Like, they don't care to have a relationship with me. She don't care about my life. She don't care about nothing I got going on. Like, when are we gonna ever talk? You don't ask how I'm doing in school. You don't ask how my relationship is with friends. Like, there's no communication. You don't ask how I'm doing emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm just sitting on the couch, and then tears started to fall from my eyes. And one thing about me, I've always been like a thinker. I've always been a thinker. So it's just like, as I'm sitting on the couch, and at the same time, I didn't have nobody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking of all kind of stuff. And then, like I said, the tears just started to roll. And at that very moment, it was at that very moment that I told myself I will never try to have a relationship again with my mom. Like, and that's a crazy promise to make to yourself at that age. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's thinking about stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, somebody is, but I'm just saying, like, that's not just your average thought. Like, F that. I'm not ever gonna try to build a relationship with my mom. Forget it. Like, whole heart turned cold in that moment. And I feel like it affected me to the point where, like, later in life, as I got older, because it continued, the non-communication between me and her, the non-building a relationship between me and her, it continued, for years. So it was just like, don't get me wrong, we spoke, but we never had like real deep, genuine conversations. If you know what I mean. Like, we never, like I said, we never spoke about emotions. How you feel about this? How you feel about that? Like, vice versa, whether it was her saying it or whether it was me. We never had that kind of relationship. We never had that kind of talk, right? So, as I was saying, it affected me when I got older and I started to get in relationships. I was so cold, like, because I was a good person. So it was like, I could have a relationship with you, but when you trying to go below the surface, now I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm freezing up. Now I'm not giving you. Now I'm going cold because I had already built up a wall there around my heart, and that's the thing that's a point I want to make too. when I put that wall around my heart, in my mind, I assumed it was just towards my mom. But later on, I later found out that it was towards anybody that tried to get close. And so that's unhealthy. That's extremely unhealthy, because we're humans. We're supposed to have that connection. We're supposed to have that genuine interaction with other people. We're supposed to be able to effectively communicate our emotions, express ourselves, and just love each other, receive love. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, when that part of your life is cut off, it will affect every area of your life. I remember when I had a boyfriend. I want to say like my sophomore year of high school, and I remember he told me he loved me, and I just sat on the phone and I ain't say nothing back. And it was so many other instances where, because I had that traumatic experience, like of being of having emotional neglective mom, that took a toll, like I said, on my relationships. And it's so many points that I could make on how that affected me and how I showed up in my relationships. Like, I wasn't really communicating how I felt. I remember one time, my boyfriend that I had at that time, he was like, "Why you don't ever talk? Why you don't ever tell me how you feel?" And I just couldn't. Like, it was never something that I practiced, so I wasn't comfortable doing it. I didn't feel safe doing it. I didn't know how to do it. And that's another thing too. If you don't use it, you lose it. So it was because I hadn't done it in so long. It was to the point where I couldn't do it even if I wanted to. And that's a place you don't want to be. That's a place you do not want to be. So, like, no matter what relationship it is, your friendships, your relationships, romantic, your friendships, relationship with your children, relationship with your parents, show up and express yourself. Be vulnerable, because it's so many relationships that I guess I could say screwed, because I didn't open up. And I knew people wanted to get to know me, like, below the surface, but I just couldn't get myself to open up. Like, I felt like I would get hurt. I felt like I would get played. I felt like, and that's the thing too. There is a chance of you getting hurt if you become vulnerable and open up and express your feelings and things of that nature to people. But that shouldn't stop you. You know what I'm saying? You should do things to protect yourself, yes, but that does not mean go numb, go cold towards anybody that wanna genuinely build a connection with you. And it's like now, like, after I realized all this, after I did my healing and things of that nature, it was certain people that I wanted to go back, like my ex, for example. Like, I wanted to, like, hit him up and maybe have a little conversation on how things went. Not to rekindle things or nothing like that, but just to, we're mature now, we're grown, so kind of express those kind of things. But he's gone now. He passed away, so it's like you don't even get that back. So it's just like, even with your kids, open up, speak to them, ask them how they feel. You tell them how they feel. It's okay to be vulnerable. That's one thing I'm learning now. Like, it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to express your emotions. And I feel like in today's society, in today's world, like this time, like, people, they praise having a cold heart. Every other song you hear on the radio is, "Oh, I'm numb to this and I'm numb to that and I'm cold, I don't use my heart." It's just like, that's not something you should be bragging about. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not something that's powerful. That doesn't make you strong. Like, I feel like being able to open up and express your emotions and communicate your emotions, that's strong. That's a strong person in my eyes, because that shows that you tough. That means, like, the risk of you could possibly get hurt, but you're doing it anyway. That's tough. That's strength. You know what I'm saying? So now that I know better, like, I've been doing the work to And it's still a little challenging, if I'm being completely honest, but I've gotten better. It's still challenging, but I've gotten better. And if anybody else is struggling with this or having challenges with this, I would say the first person to start with is yourself. Like, just write down how you feel. Communicate with yourself. It might sound crazy talking to yourself, but do it, because guess what? The realest person that you're gonna ever talk to is you. If you can't be real with you, you can't be real with nobody else. The person that you're gonna talk to the most is you. You're with yourself most of the day. Most of the day. You're with yourself every day, 24/7. Like, aside from like, when I say most of the day, like when you engaging with people, when you're in the presence of somebody else, you're in their company. But like, as far as just like being with yourself, you know what I'm saying? When you go home at night, when you wake up in the morning, if you ain't in a relationship, you're with yourself. So do the work. And those times when you know what I'm saying, when you just at home chilling, stop running away from yourself. That's the thing. See, people be trying to stay busy, stay occupied all day. They trying to run away from themselves, because when you sit by yourself, that's when emotions start coming to the surface. That's when things start getting revealed to you. But people don't like that. So that's why they constantly grinding, constantly working. Slow down. Come back. Draw it back. Get to know you. Express yourself. How do you feel? Ask yourself these questions. Because like I said, if you don't use it, you lose it. And you don't want to come to a point where you want to genuinely have a relationship with somebody and you want to build that deep connection, but you can't. Because that was me. I couldn't. It's been so many opportunities that I missed. Whether opportunities as in connecting with somebody, whether it's like business or things like that, or opportunities as in having a romantic relationship with somebody that I actually like, because I couldn't really express how I felt. Like, it was to the point where, like, even if I liked you, I still might not tell you. Like, people probably, like, it was people that I knew I liked, but when they came around, I would act like I ain't even gonna say I would act like I don't like them. I just didn't really, I felt like if I showed a little too much, then they gonna, get in their head, get big headed, and I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? So I just like played it cool, like I ain't really care. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, it made me miss out on, having a relationship with people I actually like. You know what I'm saying? So just open up, bruh. And then even if you in like a marriage or something like that, because I know sometimes that can get a little crazy too, when you feel like, because we're constantly changing. So it's like you got to get to relearn a person again. Even with your kids, they're growing, so you got to get to relearn them too. So you got to open that door for communication, for connection, for emotions to just flourish and just flow and be comfortable and make it a safe space. That's how you build like powerful relationships. Being vulnerable, being genuine, opening up, speaking on how you feel. So yeah, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm gonna cut it right there. But I just wanted to let anybody know that may be struggling with expressing your emotions. Like, you're not the only one. You're not alone. I've been there, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Like, you never know who could be your person. You never know what kind of relationship you might build with someone. Go for it. Go for it, for sure. For sure. And that's all for today. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.